6 men walked into Sunday at the 2026 U.S. Open believing the trophy could be theirs. They had the position, they had the path, they had the belief. And by the time the sun dropped behind Long Island, every single one of them had watched it slip through their hands. These are the golfers who thought they could win the 2026 U.S. Open, until the pressure took everything away. A year earlier, he'd shot 78 on a U.S. Open Sunday and called it the day he lost a major. 12 months later, he was a half-inch away from forcing a playoff. Sam Burns started the final round 7 shots back of Wyndham Clark, even par, buried. And then he birdied 3 of his first 5 holes, a 27-footer at the 5th, front 9, 3 under. He'd moved past Scheffler. He'd moved past everyone. With Clark bleeding shots ahead of him, the lead was suddenly 1. And then the back 9 started biting. A 3-putt bogey at 15 dropped him back to 2 under. You could feel the window closing, but Burns wasn't done. A 17-foot birdie putt at 16, within 1 again. 17th hole, a 10-footer for birdie. Pushed it right. Terrible read, he'd say later. Not a very good putt. 18th hole, about 8 feet for a tie. He hit it exactly the way he wanted. The ball rolled and rolled and missed by a half-inch. He tossed the putter, dropped to his knees on the green, walked into the scoring tent, and just sat there with his hands on his head. And then he watched Clark birdie 16, bogey 17, and 2, putt his way to the trophy. I felt like I was chasing all day. It's unfortunate, I just came up 1 short. A 67 on Sunday, the best round of the day. And it still wasn't enough. His dad was there. Father's Day. They both knew what it could have been. But at the 2026 U.S. Open, belief turns fragile fast. And no story arrived more loaded than the one walking off the first tee. World number 1, 30th birthday, Father's Day. The career Grand Slam waiting on the other side of 18 holes. The crowd literally sang happy birthday to Scottie Scheffler before he hit a shot. Happy birthday to you. 6 back. Clark in the same group. And then Clark just started giving it away. Bogey at the 1st. Bogey at the 2nd. Bogey at the 7th. Inside an hour and 20 minutes, the lead had shrunk from 6 all the way to 1. The door wasn't just open, it was wide open, and Scheffler couldn't walk through it. He bogeyed his own first hole. Then he got stuck on the par 3 7th, 2 shots out of a bunker just to escape with another bogey. He never got closer than 3. Hole 16, the par 5, was his last real chance. Clark teed off into the thick fescue. Scheffler hit the fairway, and then he tried to hit driver off the deck and put it in the rough. Clark made birdie, Scheffler made par, led back to 5, and that was it. 2 birdies all day, a round of 71. T4. The crowd that sang for him watched him fade away. I felt close again, he said afterwards. Just little things here and there. The Grand Slam waits another year. And another golfer thought the trophy was within reach for about an hour. Saturday afternoon. Rory McIlroy had just made 3 straight birdies on 5, 6, and 7, including a 66-foot bomb that sent Long Island into a frenzy. The Rory chance came back. He'd made the turn at 2 under for the championship. 4 shots back. Top 10 of the leaderboard. A career goal. Winning a U.S. Open on a real U.S. Open course. Finally visible. And then the wheels came off. Hole 10, a wedge from the fairway, just 49 yards out, airmailed over the green. Bogey. 3 putt at 12, 3 putt at 14. Missed a 2-footer at 15. 5 bogeys on the back 9. A 40. The crowd that had been roaring his name went quiet. Sunday was a formality. 3 bogeys in his first 5 holes. He just yelled at himself. Oh, just go home, Rory. Shot another 73. Finished tied for 32nd. Refused interviews. Walked through the gallery straight to his car. I think it won the battle over me at this point. The course he'd vowed to master 8 years earlier had beaten him again in 90 minutes of Saturday golf. The 2026 US Open has a way of breaking expectations. Sometimes it just lets them quietly die. Tom Kim wasn't supposed to be there at all, ranked 141st in the world, winless for over 2 years. To even make Shinnecock, he had to play 36 holes of final qualifying at Dallas Athletic Club, and he walked into Sunday tied for second on his 24th birthday, 6 back in the penultimate group. Belief alive. 2 players on the same Sunday were chasing something nobody had ever done, winning a major on their own birthday. Scheffler was one of them. Tom Kim was the other. He played a clean, controlled, even par 70. Birdied the 11th to climb to 1 under for the tournament. Became one of only 3 players to finish under par at Shinnecock all week. But Sunday at the US Open needs something special, and Kim's special just never came. The pars kept piling up. The leader stayed too far ahead. He finished solo third, 3 strokes back. The best US Open of his career, a 141st ranked qualifier on his birthday, in red figures at the US Open. He believed. The trophy stayed just out of reach. What followed felt like the strangest dream of the day. 3 weeks before the US Open, JT Poston wasn't even in the field. Then he won the Memorial, and suddenly he had a ticket to Shinnecock. He shot 71. He shot 71. He shot another 71. Nobody was talking about him. And then Sunday morning, 2 hours ahead of the leaders, he caught fire. Bogey at the second. Then 4 birdies in his next 5 holes. Then a birdie at the 12th from just off the green. His 6th circle of the day. He'd surged into a share of 3rd place. Ahead of him, Clark was bleeding shots. Burns was bleeding shots. Poston sat at 1 under for the tournament with 4 holes to play. And broadcasters started asking the question out loud. Is JT Poston going to win the US Open? For a stretch of Sunday afternoon, the answer wasn't crazy. Then the next birdie just didn't come. The pars stretched out. The window closed. He signed for a 3 under 67 at even par for the tournament, tied for 4th. He outscored Scheffler. He outscored Schauffele. He outscored McIlroy. A man who wasn't supposed to be at Shinnecock had spent 45 minutes inside the conversation for the trophy, and then it was gone. And then there was the player who said his only goal was just to qualify, briefly held 2nd place at the US Open, and watched it disappear on a single swing. Sahith Theegala had missed parts of 2025 with injury. Before the final round, he'd told reporters, "Honestly, I was just hoping I would get into the tournament." And he walked into Sunday at 1 under, tied for 2nd, in the penultimate group with Tom Kim. Career best major position. Then he reached the par 4 4th hole, a 291-yard drive, left, into the native area, deep fescue. He stood over the 2nd shot, hacked at it. The grip slipped. The club sailed out of his hands, flying over the heads of nearby fans into the gallery. And then they found something else, buried beneath his lie. Another golf ball, swallowed by the fescue. Classic Shinnecock, double bogey. He went from 1 under to 2 over in a single hole, out of contention. Just like that. He drifted to T11, technically a career-best US Open finish. But the championship hope died in deep grass, on 1 swing, on 1 hole that summed up the entire week. 6 men, 6 different shapes of the same Sunday. A ½ inch on 18, a birthday lost. Wheels coming off in 90 minutes. A 141st ranked qualifier 3 shots short. A surge that ran out of holes. A club in the air over the gallery. At Shinnecock Hills, every one of them believed they could win the 2026 US Open, and every one of them watched it slip away. They didn't just lose, they lost what they thought was already theirs.